video lecture. In today's video lecture, I'll be solving previous year's NEET questions and discussing the answers. And this is for the chapter Structural Organization in Animals. And we are in part 2 of the series. So if you haven't checked out part 1, please do so. The link will be there in the description box below. Alright, okay, so let's begin. Okay, so question number 1. Which one of the following pairs of structures distinguishes a nerve cell from the other types of cell? And this appeared in 2007. So you have A, vacuoles and fibers, B, flagellum and medullary sheath, C, nucleus and mitochondria, D, perikaryon and dendrites. Okay, so you define the structures that differentiate nerve cell from the other cells. So clearly you can see the answer is D, perikaryon and dendrites, which are very exclusive for nerve cells. So the correct answer is D. Okay, so yeah, here you have a structure of a typical nerve cell, and you can clearly see soma or the cell body, which is also known as perikaryon. And you have processes or neurites, which are dendrites and axon. So you have axon here and you have dendrite here. All right. So they are very typical for a nerve cell. The other questions weren't fitting into that question. So this is the appropriate answer. Okay. So next question. Okay. So question number 2. In which one of the following preparations are you likely to come across cell junctions most frequently? And this appeared in 2007. A, thrombocytes, B, tendon, C, hyaline cartilage, D, ciliated epithelium. So following preparation, you're likely to come across cell junction. We already discussed cell junctions in the previous lecture. That's part 1. So the answer clearly over here is ciliated epithelium. Cell junctions like tight junctions, gap junctions, adhering junctions, all those junctions are typically found in epithelium. So your answer is D. So cell junctions are found in epithelial tissues, yes, and they form structural and functional links between individual cells. Okay, so this is easy. I've already discussed cell junctions in much detail in part 1, so please go check that out. Okay, so question number 3. Areolar connective tissue joints. This appeared in 2006. A, bones with bones. B, fat body with muscles. C, integument with muscles. D, bones with muscles. So areolar connective tissue is usually known as the loose connective tissue, right? And as per the options given over here, option C is the most appropriate. It's integument with muscle. Integument is your whole skin structure. Okay. So areolar tissue is loose connective tissue with loosely arranged fibers. So you have your epidermis, you have your dermis, and then below that you have all your connective tissues. The areolar connective tissue, it helps you move your muscles, your skin over each other, and it's also very helpful in hollow organs to be able to distend easily. So since it is loose, it allows for skin to move over deep layers of connective tissues. In hollow organs, it allows for mobility and stretching. Okay, so this loose connective tissue, the areolar tissue, plays a very important role in movement. And of course, mobility and stretching in hollow organs. dense connective tissues are, very thick. They're very fibrous, but this loose connective tissue have loosely arranged fibers. Okay, so they allow this movement to happen easily. So, as per the question, the options given below, areolar connective tissue joins integument with muscles. It will help easily connects the integument, that's your skin part, with the muscle layer beneath. Okay, let's move on. Question number 4. Mast cells secrete. This appeared in 2006. A, hemoglobin. B, heparin. C. Myoglobin, D. Histamine. So mast cells secrete histamine. We already discussed mast cells, right? Much detail. I think in human health and also in body fluids and circulation also I've discussed mast cells. So mast cells secrete D. Histamine. So mast cells are also known as mastocytes or histaminocytes, and they secrete histamine, heparin, serotonin, and bradykinin. Yeah, this is a typical structure of a mast cell. So what a mast cell looks like. So when cells are exposed to an antigen, it ruptures the cell and releases these products. Okay, so usually it's used in protecting, your immune system. Okay, it plays an important role in the immune system. So when the cell is exposed to a particular antigen, so it ruptures and releases these products. All right, so that's mast cell. This was a pretty direct question. You should be able to answer this. Just remember all these products. That's histamine, heparin, serotonin, bradykinin. All these are secreted from mast cells. Okay, so question number 5. 4 healthy people in their 20s got involved in injuries resulting in damage and death of few cells of the following. Which of the cells are least likely to be replaced by new cells? This appeared in 2005. Okay, so which of the cells are least likely to be replaced by new cells? You have A. Liver cells, B. Neurons, C. Malpighian layer of the skin, D. Osteocytes. So least likely is definitely neuron. Neuron is very difficult to regenerate. It does not regenerate. But the others A, C, and D, they have a tendency to regenerate. So least likely to be replaced by new cells is neuron. Yeah. So the answer is B. So neurons do not have the ability to regenerate, hence it is likely to be replaced by new cells. Yeah. Remember that basically they were like testing you on which cells can be regenerated and which cannot. So neurons is one of them. This is a good question, yeah. Smiley face. This was the application kind of question. It wasn't just direct question. The question is given to you and it just directly give the answer to that question directly. But this had required some knowledge for you to know. All right, let's move on. All right, question number 6. Mast cells of connective tissue contain, again, it's a mast cell question. It's appeared in 2004. A. Vasopressin, relaxin, B. Heparin, histamine, C. Heparin, calcitonin, D. Serotonin, melanin. So we just discussed mast cells again. It has to be B. Heparin and histamine. Answer is B. So mast cells, mastocytes or histaminocytes secrete the following. That's why I said just remember these products. So if they ever ask you, you know the answer. Histamine, heparin, serotonin, bradykinin, so on. Okay, let's move on then. Question number 7. Which one of the following contains the largest quantity of extracellular material? It's appeared in 2003. A. Striated muscle, B. Areolar tissue, C. Stratified epithelium, D. Myelinated nerve fibers. So it contains the largest quantity of extracellular material is B. Areolar tissue, the loose connective tissue. Answer is B. So areolar tissue is a type of loose connective tissue and has a semi-fluid ground substance made up of proteoglycans. And it consists of fibroblasts, mast cells, and macrophages. So think of it this way: areolar tissue is loose, right, as compared to the dense connective tissue that we have, like tendons and ligaments. So this is loose. So the collagen fibers are loosely arranged, right, and they help in easy movement, right, for your skin, and beneath that all the muscles that are present there. It allows for easy movement of stretching of hollow organs and mobility and movement and all that. You obviously need that. Your human body can't be very stiff. It won't work that way, right? So apart from those loosely arranged fibers, it also contains other so because of that, it also contains other extracellular material. Now the extracellular material such as fibroblasts are there, mast cells are there, macrophages are there. So it's designed in such a way that it allows for extracellular material to exist around it. Okay, like macrophages, mast cells, and fibroblasts. So think of it as that way. Again, this was a good question that they asked, which is the tissue that has largest number of extracellular material. Again, a good question. So this deserves another smiley face. Yeah. So this would, I guess, help you understand or remember easier of what areolar tissue actually is, and what is the difference between this areolar tissue and dense connective tissue like tendons and ligaments and so on. Right. Yes, we've answered the question. Which one the following contains the largest quantity of extracellular material? It's areolar tissue. Okay, let's move on. Question number 8. Collagen is, and this appeared in 2002, A. Fibrous protein, B. Globular protein, C. Lipid, D. Carbohydrate. So collagen is what? We've seen collagen so many times. Collagen is a fibrous protein. Okay, collagen is a fibrous protein. So the answer is A. Okay, so collagen is actually found in connective tissues. Yeah, either they're loosely arranged like in areolar tissue, or they're like parallelly arranged and they're dense, in a proper form. Can be found in either ways. Okay, so they are arranged in bundles or are loosely arranged. They are known as fibrous tissue. Okay, in areolar tissue, the fibers are loosely arranged, and tendons they are parallelly arranged in bundles. Okay, so basically this is where collagen is found and how it is found in the human body. Now, collagen is usually typically made up of polypeptide chains. Okay, they're made up of polypeptide chains. So the amino acids are taken up by cell and linked to form pro-alpha chains, which then get converted to alpha chains. I'm just giving this information. Okay, might not be, it might not appear in NEET or any other exam, but just to understand how collagen is actually being formed. Okay, so they have pro-alpha chains and they get converted to alpha chains, polypeptide chains. Okay, now 3 such chains join to form a pro-collagen molecule. Okay, so that means you have 3 polypeptide chains and they form a pro-collagen molecule. And how are they typically arranged? They actually typically arranged in a triple helical structure. Like a DNA. DNA is a double helical structure, right? So collagen is a triple helical structure. Okay, so you'll find 3 of those polypeptide chains intertwined together in a helical structure. So that is called a pro-collagen molecule. Alright. Now such molecules leave the cell through secretory vacuoles to form tropocollagen molecules. So eventually the pro-collagen molecules then finally get converted to tropocollagen molecules. Okay, that's like the final fibrous bundle that you see. Okay, that's called tropocollagen molecule. So from pro-collagen gets converted to tropocollagen molecule, which then aggregate to form these fibers. Okay, so these loose ends are cut like that, okay, to form tropocollagen molecules, and then they are arranged in fibrous forms, like fibers. You find like striated fibers. Okay, I think I've shown you a diagram of a tendon where you can see, these fibers. So basically that's the final product that you see. But how is it come? It's come from polypeptide chains, okay, and 3 chains then they combine together to form a triple helical structure to form pro-collagen, then it becomes tropocollagen, and then finally it becomes the collagen fiber. I don't know how useful this information will be for NEET, but just to help you understand better what collagen is and how is it formed in the body, this flow chart is helpful. Okay, in case you're curious, I've taken this from textbook of Human Histology by I.V. Singh. Okay, it's explained how collagen is formed there. But don't worry, you will come across this when you study medicine. Okay, this textbook is a very common textbook then. And you'll probably study this then when you are studying for MBBS. Right, so yeah, basically, so what collagen is, it's a fibrous protein. That answers our question. But how collagen is formed, I've just given you that extra information. All right, I guess we can move on. Question number 9. During an injury, nasal septum gets damaged, and for its recovery, which cartilage is preferred? Okay, this appeared in 2001. So you have A, elastic cartilage, B, hyaline cartilage, C, calcified cartilage, and D, fibrous cartilage. So nasal septum is damaged. Now, what kind of, basically they are just asking you what kind of cartilage is present in nasal septum. That's what they want to know. So that's how you can recover that cartilage, right? So nasal septum has hyaline cartilage. Okay, nasal septum has hyaline cartilage. We already discussed this previously also. So nasal septum is made up of hyaline cartilage, hence it will be used for recovery. All right, so basically they're just testing you what kind of cartilage is present in nasal septum. Okay, let's move on then. This was, I think, we discussed the cartilages in the previous lecture also. So this is just a repeat. So I'm not going to go into detail here. Okay, question number 10. Which cells do not form layer and remain structurally separate? This appeared in 2001. A, epithelial cells, B, muscle cells, C, nerve cells, D, gland cells. So they do not form a layer and remain structurally separate are nerve cells. C, neurons remain structurally separate. Answer is C. So yeah, here you have a typical diagram for neurons. This is taken from NCRT, so this should be familiar to you. Nerve cells or neuron remain structurally separate and do not form layers. Okay, so this was a very obvious answer. Yeah, let's move on then. Question number 11. Proteoglycan in cartilages, which is a part of polysaccharide, this appeared in 2000. So proteoglycan is the ground matrix or the ground substance, called a matrix, not the movie Matrix. This is like the basic ground substance of a cartilage. It's made up of proteoglycans. Okay, which is a part. Now proteoglycans are a mix of carbohydrates and protein, right? Now I guess they're asking for the part which is polysaccharide, that means the carbohydrate part. Okay, so you have A, chondroitin, B, ossein, C, casein, and D, cartilage. Okay, so over here, which is a part of polysaccharide, is A, chondroitin. Okay, that's the appropriate answer here. Cartilage, I don't think it's a very well-defined term in terms of medicine, but A, chondroitin fits the question perfectly. So the ground substance of cartilage is made up of carbohydrates and proteins, okay, proteoglycans. The carbohydrates are glycosaminoglycans, which includes chondroitin sulfate, keratin sulfate, and hyaluronic acid. Okay, so this is the carbohydrate part of the ground substance of the cartilage. Okay, remember that, because I guess they could have framed this question a little bit better, but from what I've understood in this question, they're asking for the carbohydrate part or the polysaccharide part of that. So the carbohydrates are actually glycosaminoglycans. Okay, they're actually called glycosaminoglycans, and these glycosaminoglycans include chondroitin sulfate, keratin sulfate, and hyaluronic acid. Basically, that is what it is. So if you go back to the question, proteoglycan cartilages, which is a part of polysaccharide, is chondroitin. Okay, let's move on then. Question number 12. Characteristic of simple epithelium is that they, this appeared in 2000, are arranged indiscriminately. B, make a definite layer. C, continue to divide and help in organ function. D, none of the above. So characteristic of simple epithelium is that they're not arranged indiscriminately, they are discriminately arranged. You can see them. B, they make a definite layer. Yes, B. They continue to divide and help in organ function. Well, they do divide, but help in organ function is like a big thing, you know. Organ function is, there's so many things involved in an organ function. So I don't think that really it's a characteristic of simple epithelium. B, none of the above? No, because B makes more sense. So answer is B. So simple epithelium makes a definite layer. Yeah, that's the appropriate answer here. So you don't need to understand what a simple epithelium is actually, and how it helps in the body. Okay, so question number 13. Ligament is a or an, and so on, and this appeared in the year 1999. A. Inelastic white fibrous tissue. B. Modified white fibrous tissue. C. Modified yellow elastic fibrous tissue. D. None of the above. So ligament is actually a modified yellow elastic fibrous tissue. Okay, so the answer is C. So elastic tissues are usually yellow in color. Okay, that's how it is. And ligaments are made of yellow elastic fibrous tissue. So ligament is usually it's a little, in between. There's some ligaments which are made up of these fibrous tissues, the white fibrous tissues, and there are some that have only elastic fibers in it. Okay, so it's like a mix that has been found in the body. So, for example, ligamentum nuchae on the back of the neck, ligamentum flava connects the lamina of adjoining vertebrae. Vocal ligaments of larynx are elastic tissue ligaments. So that's why you can call them as modified yellow elastic, fibrous tissue. They're fibrous also, and they're elastic also. Then there's some that are only elastic tissue ligaments, and there are some that are like a mix of elastic and they have white fibers also in it. So this is like a mix of both. But if you had to choose an appropriate answer for this question, then it is modified yellow elastic fibrous tissue. That would be the appropriate answer for this. But they're not like all white fibrous tissue. There are yellow elastic fibrous tissue also, and they're definitely not inelastic. So that is wrong. So the answer over here is C. Okay, so ligament is more of like an in between. So you find various different types in the body, but yes, they are elastic also in nature, and so yellow elastic fibrous tissue. Okay, let's move on then. Question number 14. Tendon is made up of, this appeared in 1999. A. Yellow fibrous connective tissue. C. Modified white fibrous tissue. C. Areolar tissue. D. Adipose tissue. So tendon is made up of modified white fibrous tissue. It's very obvious. Tendon, there's no doubt about. So the answer is B. See, this is the diagram that I was talking about. So you can see how they are all arranged in parallel form. Okay, the collagen fibers. So collagen fibers are arranged parallel in bundles. This kind of tissue is called white fibrous tissue and is found in tendons. Okay, so this is very obvious. It's very simple, very direct. It's not complicated like ligaments. Okay, so it's definitely white fibrous tissue. Okay, so I think you should remember the difference between tendon and ligaments. So because now that I have already discussed it, you can note it down in your notebooks, because the tendons are a little different from ligaments, right, in terms of what kind of tissue is present there. Okay, let's move on. Question number 15. In mammals, histamine is secreted by, this appeared in 1998. A. Lymphocytes. B. Mast cells. C. Fibroblasts. D. Histiocytes. So histamine is secreted by B. Mast cells. Okay, it is called mast cells. Again, this is like the third question regarding mast cells, right, in this lecture today itself. So mast cells seems to be important. They secrete histamine, heparin, serotonin, and bradykinin. So note that down. Again, let's repeat. So we'll not go into much detail. Question number 16. Protein present in cartilage is, this appeared in 1997. Sorry. A. Cartilagen. B. Ossian. C. Chondrin. D. None of these. Now I had to do some digging in, some research regarding this question because the options didn't really make sense. Now the protein present in, now they're talking about the protein part. Remember in the previous question, I don't remember which number the question was, they spoke about the polysaccharide part, the carbohydrate part. Now they're talking about the protein part present in that proteoglycans, the ground substance, the matrix essence. So what is the protein present in cartilage? Basically, that's what they want to know. So is it cartilagen? Is it B ocean? Is it C chondrin? D none of these. Now chondrin is different from chondroitin. Okay, chondrin is actually the ground substance. So if you boil cartilage, you will get this bluish gel-like structure, which is actually called chondrin. Okay, so but the ground substance that we know is actually proteoglycan. It is a mix of carbohydrate and protein, but chondrin doesn't really support the question. Their answer doesn't support the question whether it's protein or not. Cartilagen also, there's no definite term like called cartilagen which can be explained. I haven't found anything. B ocean, no, that's part of bones. D none of these. I think none of these is the appropriate answer for this because it's not A, B or C. Okay, so according to me, protein present cartilage is none of these. Answer is D. Now let's go to the discussion part. Now the protein part present in cartilage is actually called aggrecan. Okay, so now we know that the the cartilage ground substance is carbohydrates and protein, right? So there is the carbohydrate part, that's glycosaminoglycans, right? And then there is the protein part, the core protein part, which is called aggrecan. That is actually the protein part. And this information I have also got again from textbook of human histology. So according to I.V. Singh, the author, he has stated that the protein part of the cartilage is called aggrecan. The core protein part is called aggrecan. Okay. Now, apart from aggrecan, along with that, there are type 2 collagen fibers present in cartilage. Okay. So, collagen is again a protein, right? So, if they've asked you protein, I have also mentioned that apart from aggrecan, there is type 2 cartilage that is also present. Type 2 collagen, I'm sorry, that is also present in cartilage. So these are the two different types of protein that are found in cartilage. Basically, that's what it is. Okay. The other A, C, and D, the options there don't make. I'm sorry, A, B, and C, the options don't make sense. They are asking for the protein present in cartilage, right? Ocean is not that. So it has to be either A or C, but A and C don't fit into the question. So when I did my research and I found that aggrecan is a core protein that's present in cartilage, and along with that there are type 2 collagen fibers present in cartilage. Okay, so this is the protein part of cartilage. Okay, so let's move on then. Question number 17. Basement membrane is made up of, it's appeared in 1997. A, no cell product of epithelial cell. B, epidermal cell only. C, endodermal cell. D, both B and C. So basement membrane is made up of no cell product of epithelial cell. Okay, answer is A. Basement membrane is completely different from the cell. So basement membrane consists of basal lamina and reticular lamina. Okay, so you see BM over here. This is basement membrane. Okay, and consists of basal lamina and reticular lamina. The basal lamina is then again divided into two parts. Lamina densa containing fibrils and lamina lucida, which is transparent, lies against the cell membrane of the epithelial cells. Okay, so basically basement membrane is made of amorphous material. They don't have any proper shape or size, unlike the cells have a proper shape, right? We are aware of that, but the basement membrane is not really that. It's just made of fibers, and there's a basal lamina and then there's reticular lamina, which is fibroreticular, and then again basal lamina is divided into lamina densa, which contains fibrils, and lamina lucida, which is transparent and lies against the cell membrane of epithelial cells. So they don't contain cell products of the epithelial cells. Nothing to do with that. They are completely different. So we go back to the question. No cell product of epithelial cell. Yeah. So that is the appropriate answer. They're basically just made up of fibers, the fibrous material over there. Okay, let's move on then. Question number 18. Stratum germinativum is an example of which kind of epithelium? Okay, this appeared in 1997. A. columnar, B. squamous, C. cuboidal, D. ciliated. So stratum germinativum, such a long word, is an example of A. columnar. Okay, so the answer is A. columnar. So stratum germinativum is basically the part of your skin, your epidermis. Basically talking about the epidermis. So what you see here is the epidermis of your skin. So the epidermis of the skin consists of stratified epithelium, of which the basal layer or deepest layer is called stratum basilae. Okay, that's over here, the basal cell layer, this BC over here. You see this part over here. I can get another. Yeah, this part over here. This is the basal cell layer. Okay. Stratum basilae is made up of columnar cells and rests on the basal lamina. Okay, that's like the stratum basilae is the lowest or the deepest most layer of the epidermis. Okay. Now it consists of stem cells which undergo mitosis to form keratinocytes and is therefore also known as stratum germinativum. Okay, also known as germinal layer. Okay, that is when it is made up of columnar cells. Yeah, so basically you have this basal cell layer over here, then you have stratum spinosum, which is SS, and then you have stratum granulosum, that's SG, stratum lucidum, and then you have this final stratum corneum. Okay, so these are the different layers of the epidermis. Okay, I'm not discussing the epidermis in much detail. Basically, they just asked for stratum germinativum. Why is it called germinativum? Because it contains stem cells which can be then converted into keratinocytes. Okay, so that's why it's known as a germinal layer. So, and it's actually the most deepest layer. It's also known as stratum basilae. Okay, that's another name for it. Okay, I guess that we've answered the questions. Definitely columnar, stratum germinativum. Yeah, I guess we can move on. Alright, so question number 19. An epithelial tissue which has thin flat cells arranged edge to edge so as to appear like closely packed tiles is found to be present at, and this appeared in 1994. A. Outer surface of ovary. Okay, B. Inner lining of fallopian tube. C. Inner lining of stomach. Or D. Inner lining of cheeks. So an epithelial tissue which has thin flat cells arranged edge to edge so as to appear like closely packed tiles. So basically what are they talking about? They're almost squamous epithelium. Okay, squamous epithelium. Very obvious from the description given there. So basically now they want to know where is it present. Is it in the ovary, fallopian tube, stomach, cheeks, whatever. So squamous epithelium is definitely found in the inner lining of cheeks. Okay, that's the basal, the mouth mucosa, oral mucosa, and that's where squamous epithelium is found. So the answer is D. It's definitely not found in the outer surface of ovary. Inner lining of fallopian tube has ciliated columnar epithelium. Inner lining of stomach, no, that's again columnar epithelium. It's inner lining of cheeks with squamous epithelium. The squamous epithelial cells is found in the inner lining of cheeks. You'd probably do an experiment in your biology lab in 11th or 12th standard where you'd have to scrape a small portion of the cheek, the inner lining of the cheek. But don't worry, that doesn't really, don't put it too deep. And make a slide, in those glass slides. Prepare a slide and see it under the microscope so you can actually see the squamous epithelium, how they're closely arranged in tiles. So that kind of tissue is found in the inner lining of the cheek. Basically, that's what it is. You probably do it in your biology lab in your 11th or 12th grade, I guess. I'm not sure. But yeah, you can see this form is epithelial cells over there, and something that it's easy to get. You can't go into your ovaries and fallopian tubes and get tissues right out of that to observe under a microscope. But yeah, this is quite easy to do. All right, so I guess I've answered the question. Yeah, so it's D, the inner lining of cheeks. Yeah. Okay, let's move on then. Okay, so we've come to the end of this video lecture, and I hope you've enjoyed today's video lecture, and I hope you've learned something new today. And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to MT NEET Biology. And I'm also available on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, so you can follow me there for more updates. The links will be there in the description box below. And I'll see you in the next video lecture. All right, so bye.